Sean Peoples is a program associate and multimedia editor for the Environmental Change and Security and Global Sustainability programs here at the Wilson Center. He's also co-producer of a new short film titled Broken Landscape. Sean, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, sir.
Tell us about the focus of Broken Landscape. What is it the story of?
Sure. Well, it looks at a set of folks in Northeast India, reporters and villagers and mine owners and miners that are grappling with this food, water, energy nexus.
And that's what's breaking the landscape.
Yes. You have an agricultural center that is completely switched over to now a coal economy. And once you start extracting coal from the land, it's really hard to go back to an agricultural economy. And so right now, not only are there jobs, but there's a huge amount of environmental troubles. The water.
I know this well. I grew up in the coal region of Pennsylvania, and the landscape is permanently scarred from strip mining. This is rat hole mining. Explain what that is all about.
Rat hole mining it's just very unsafe, unscientific process where you've got a miner that goes, cuts a hole into the earth vertically, and then once you hit the coal veins, you start cutting in horizontally.
So this is primitive. It's all by hand.
Very primitive, and it's different because it's a region of India that's kind of semi-autonomous. So mainland India has a lot of safe practices, a lot more regulation. In this area, there's just regulations just not doing it. It's not really protecting the miners, and it's not protecting villagers downstream who are dealing with acid mine drainage, an effect of extracting coal and having that coal seep into the water supply.
Well, you selected two clips for us to take a look at, and the first introduces a fisherman.
Yes, he is. His name is Kip, and he's kind of our main voice for the villagers who are feeling they're on the front lines of these environmental impacts.
So let's take a look, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Đại cái lẽ có món giống linh đại cái xí linh đại cái này thì năng tọa bà có được hà tọa năng bốn có được hà này thì bỏ cái này có thao có khơi cái chính nhar này cũng năng xóa này khơi cái chính nhar cái này cái hay dụ đi cái phần em cam cũng đi nào bám cái này cái bê ông cái bê tọa bê cái sẽ cầm bê cái ti por komon ubrum jo kjut ukam kani kepo iki nang chang chnang komon de jong smap ut ngara kani ko negi bru hapo kani ko chnang kani ko dong broi komon do yo ki ka ta jing jap ka sir khe komon kam siong nut de ku bam nut de ku bam.
Okay, so he talks about a time when the water was pure and clean. So this means this degradation has occurred in his lifetime, rapidly.
In his lifetime, yes. You see that the impacts of this coal mining isn't over years or decades. It's pretty immediate. And this river is now the pH value of vinegar. Wow. Nothing can live in this water now.
Wow, a dead river.
A dead river.
And a fisherman with empty nets and boats and lines. There's no question that the source of this pollution is the coal mine, correct? There's the people who are advocating for the coal mine say otherwise, but there's no question in this case.
This is downstream from where most of that mining activity is happening, and it all is correlated back to the time when these mines came in.
I guess the good news is, at least for now, that there's a ban on this type of mining?
There is. There's a new tribunal, National Green Tribunal, that was set up by the Indian Supreme Court. Very new institution. They said, we've been getting formal complaints about what this coal mining is doing to the environment. There's got to be something that we have to do. So a ban was, I think for us, surprising. We didn't know that the ban was going to happen until 2 days before we got there. So it completely changed our story.
Wow. So you were going in to tell about a story that was a runaway train, and now suddenly the story changes overnight.
The story changes overnight. We wanted to focus on the miners themselves, the dangerous practices. We weren't even really able to spend much time in the mines because there was a ban. So you've got a story that's changing every day. The folks on the ground, the reporters we talk to, don't even know if the legitimacy of this new tribunal is going to stick. So every day is a new story about how things are unfolding. You kind of have to ground truth at all times, figure out what's happening tomorrow, let alone what just happened, what a ban means for this community.
Well, let's meet one of your minor interview subjects now, and we could talk about that when we come back.
जैसे नेपाल में जब था मैं सुनने में अलग दूसरा था, लेकिन इधर आने में जब आया तो देखने में और दूसरा ही था। जब इधर आया तो देखा तो बहुत डर लगता था कि वो डेंजरस होता है उस काम करने में। हम कह नहीं सकता कि, लेकिन कोई वो कभी कभी जाते वक्त वो अपने से गिर जाता है, इसकी वजह से कोई लोग जख्म हो जाता है, कोई मर भी जाता है और कोई ऐसे एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है अचानक। सुना भी है बहुत ही। ये काम के लिए तो पेमेंट एक बहुत कम है, लेकिन हम लोग बहुत मेहनत से काम करना पड़ेगा। बहुत डेंजरस है, डेंजर के हिसाब से हम लोग का पेमेंट बहुत कम है। एक ज़रूरी है हम काम करने के लिए भी, जैसे एक रोजी रोटी के लिए काम कर रहा है।
Well, that is the other side of the story. Not that there's any question about the environmental impact, but people who rely on these mines for jobs.
And I think having those different perspectives is really important for us to capture. You know, our first day of shooting, there was a 20,000 person rally that was brought together by the coal mine owners. And then you have these obvious down village environmental impacts that, you know, are really taking these villages into a new realm that they haven't really had to deal with before.
And yet, as too often is the story in cases like this, the benefits of the mine or the profits from the mine weren't really having an impact on a great percentage of the population.
Well, I think that's something that we saw. It's actually infusing a lot of new jobs, but how long are they going to be there? How long are these new jobs all around the coal mining going to be there, and what's next?
What happens after the mines
You
shut
can't go
down?
back to agriculture.
And some of the miners were in your film talk about the fact that they haven't yet been fully compensated.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to make sure. You look at the situation of the miners, and they're the ones kind of caught really in the middle of all this. They, the miner we meet, Nishant, he makes one of the most calm and studied points in the whole film, and he says, look, I know that this affects the environment. I know the coal mining does. We need better regulations. And so he's the one who's the kind of voice of reason.
Yeah, why not the better regulations? The government, the regulatory body, baits the hook and says, if you come up with a regulatory plan, we may reopen the mines, and yet that hasn't happened. Why the resistance? Are there no options, or is it just not profitable?
The National Green Tribunal said, look, mine owners, you come to us and we'll hash this out. We will talk about a solution together because we can't do it without you. And we don't want this ban to continue. It really is. If your economy is based on coal mining and there's a ban on it, that's affecting more people now than it was prior to the ban, full stop. So neither of those groups have come together. There's still hearings. The legitimacy is kind of coming apart of this tribunal being able to really stop illegal coal mining from happening now to this day. Someone just died in the mines. It was illegal. They shouldn't have been there, but profits.
Breaking the ban.
Profits are more important right now.
Sean, talk about the larger story, the global story that this illustrates. This is happening here, and these are specific locales and individuals. But we're seeing in the developing world all types of situations like this. What is happening? What are these choke points as you describe them?
Well, we have a great program at the center that really does deal with these issues as a suite of issues, looking at them together. Water, energy, food. You can't really look at each of these things without saying, well, they affect each other. And so there was some pioneering work in China around looking at these connections. And they're still relevant for countries like India, who's going to outpace China by 2050 in terms of population growth, who has doubled down on coal as their primary source of energy. And you've got other countries who are looking to China and India as templates. And you know, we show this film in the U.S., and it's not like this story isn't familiar to people in the U.S.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I think was an unintended, aha moment for me going around and sharing this film with other people in the U.S., that in Ohio and West Virginia and Pennsylvania, these are issues that are still clearly connected to communities that have lived through this. And it's not necessarily going away if we don't really tackle the hard questions.
Right. So a moment for shameless self-promotion. Where can people see the film? Where can they get more information?
Sure. So we have a blog that posts, every day called the New Security Beat, and there we house articles that look at these connections, but also the films that we look at, both for this set of issues and others as well. And we've got about 4 or 5 now. So it really is kind of a multimedia look, and you can also get more of the analysis as well on a daily basis. So newsecuritybeat.org.
I want you to enjoy releasing the new film, but have you thought about what the next chapter is in the story?
This story needs a lot more attention. I mean, we just touched on the issues. So many other kind of issues come out if you want to go back there and actually look at what the community is now, how the snapshot now. We were there for 9-10 days. We didn't get the whole story. There's so much more story to get.
Well, congratulations on this film and good luck with the next one. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you, John.
Okay.